is on the road with them. Special guest Steely Dan. It's a 1-2 punch. These are not on sale until tomorrow morning, so you'll get the last pair from me before everybody else puts their grubby little mitts on them. So the show's going to happen Tuesday, October 17th at the Romo Fijo. They are on sale tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, at rocketmortgagefieldhouse.com. Caller 10, you get a pair here. Eagles and Steely Dan this October. Good luck. 216-578-1007 or 800-348-1007.
He's been called a waste of space before, but now it's official. Alan Cox.
To occupy the city.
On 100.7 W.
I actually just went through a breakup. Me and my girlfriend broke up because she was cheating on me, and I didn't want her to do that. But the good news is me and my mom are back together, so thank you. Yeah, I say that because my mom called me every day after the breakup with a different mom quote. You know them. Every day with, everything happens for a reason. Time heals all wounds. And eventually she started running out, and I could tell. Because after 2 weeks, she was like, dance like no one's watching. That does not pertain to me at all, Mom. Are you just walking around at Michael's reading stuff out loud?
Jeff, did you not want to listen to yourself on the Colbert Show?
I did not.
He freaked out. He's like, no.
I like to get people hip to who I'm going to be talking to. Give them a little bit of what you do professionally.
That's not what I do. That was 7 years ago. Oh, my God.
Now, what's the matter with that? That's late-night
dude,
television.
I mean,
that had to be exciting for you to do that.
It was. And
Yeah.
I was nervous, and
Yes.
they wanted to...
Because you didn't look nervous. Did you? It's a stupid question to go, did you feel nervous? Because, like, you're the only thing on that network for 7 minutes.
I was nervous, dude.
Yeah.
Because they were... I remember the day of, they were like, everything that got me to that place, I was always first to go up. Like, on the competition I did, all this other stuff, I was always first. Like, you're first. And then I get there, and I go to my friend, I go, guarantee they're going to have me go first. And she goes, hey, you're going to go first tonight. Because they did it. They didn't do, like, a full taping. They did like 6 comics just taping it as if it was the show.
Oh, really?
Wow.
This
And so
wasn't during... Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it sucks. Because I never got to even meet Steve. Like,
I didn't know that they did that at all. Yeah, Steve Colbert. Steve Colbert.
Yeah. And so I went out. I was standing on the mark, and they're like, "Hey, someone, when it's your time to go, there'll be like a voiceover, and then someone's just gonna push you." And I was like, I mean, like, what about like a tap or something? You know, like a push.
So it's in front of his studio audience, and they announce you so that they can seamlessly put it in later on.
Yep.
And then in the show, he pretends like he's looking over and bringing you out. But the two of you didn't interact.
Nope, not even at all.
Who were the other? Anybody we know that has since done some things?
Man.
I mean, do you remember?
I feel bad not knowing everyone's name because I know Ahmed Barusha.
Do you remember who the guests were the night they inserted you into the episode?
The woman from Hereditary, I forget her name. Amazing.
Tony Collette.
Tony Collette and Ethan Hawke.
Okay,
I remember, 'cause my
good
sister
company.
has the
That'd have been
screenshot.
cool people to meet.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah. That was.
Were you
fun.
more nervous for that or for when we did Laughs on Fox?
Oh my God, Laughs on Fox.
Oh, you guys were both part of Laughs on Fox.
That's how I met Jeff. He was looking for a place to stay, and I was working with this guy that later would find out is a huge racist. But at that time, he was giving me like $20 hotel rooms. So
Well, yeah, my dad is a pretty good guy in some ways, dude. All right?
No, that's why our dads are friends. But so I was able to help Jeff get a real cheap hotel room, and we were on this taping together and just kind of kept track of each other over the years.
Yeah.
That was like 2015.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, man.
Well, Jeff Arcuri is sold out tonight at Hilarities, but then they told me this morning you're coming back in December.
Yes.
So if people miss you tonight, and he's going
to be in Pittsburgh Friday and Saturday.
If you're listening in Pittsburgh, you can. The Pittsburgh Improv is tomorrow through Sunday. A few of those are sold out too.
Yeah. Friday, Saturday, early shows are sold out right now.
So I thought, Bill, are you a Chicago comic or no?
Who's Bill? I'm Jeff.
Bill told me. Bill told me he thought
it was the point of the eye contact.
You're from Michigan, but when I met you, you were in Chicago.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
That's where I'm from. So I always like chopping it up with people who, kind of came up in that way. Where are you from in Michigan?
I like southeast, like north of Detroit. A
Yeah,
little bit.
okay.
That's where I started comedy for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And then
Is
Chicago.
that where the family is?
That's where the family is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Chicago, and then back to. I was born in New York, but now it's back to New York. Yeah.
Okay.
We met at a bar show that Carl Johnson ran in Michigan. You probably won't remember this, but you're one of the people. I saw Jeff. He was headlining this bar show, and it was early in my career. It was like one of my first booked and paid gigs.
Nice.
And I got there, and they're like, I think you were still in Chicago at that point. And they're like, Jeff's like local legend, man. He's like a killer. And you went up, and it was the first thing I had seen like someone just annihilate
Wait,
an
is it
entire bar.
Michigan?
This was I forget the name of
It
this.
was
Something
when I still lived there.
the lunchbox or
Local
something
legend,
like
2
that.
years into comedy.
Right? No, you had like just moved to Chicago,
Oh,
and you were
okay.
coming back to do a show.
Yeah.
And I had heard so much about Jeff. You got to meet Jeff. He's gonna be
yeah.
amazing. And then you like murdered the show, and I was like, I want to be like Jeff one day. Like, this is so great.
No, you don't.
It was like
Okay, well, Jeff, how many followers do you have in Pakistan?
I don't know. I can check. Do you guys know a
Mary's
lot?
killing it there. That's
Whoa,
That's
really?
her trajectory.
Don't worry about that.
They love her in India and Pakistan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
We can talk more about it tonight. I'm featuring for Jeff tonight.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
hey,
excited.
Mary
Yeah.
Santora and
gonna be fun.
Jeff tonight.
I'm getting a lot of people who say that's their first comedy show, actually.
I was going to ask you about that because you've blown up huge on like Instagram Reels
Yeah.
and from the internet. And I think that happens a lot of times. You'll see it with people on TikTok where people have never been to a comedy show. Do you feel like the crowd is still pretty cool because you are putting up reels and things of crowd work or whatever?
Yeah, I cover it early in the set. I talk
Okay.
to people about what's going to happen and what to expect, and not to expect like me just going, "What do, you piece of junk?" You know.
Yeah.
We even
I can
have,
see why that crowd works so good.
What's your
What are you doing,
story?
piece of
Piece of
junk?
junk.
Fat head.
Yeah. You old so and so.
I don't use all your material right now.
I know. So what your question again was just that what's the audience?
Yeah, because sometimes if people find someone on the internet, a lot of the times it will be their first comedy show.
Yeah.
So if you have first time audience members, how does that go?
It goes mostly really well. A lot of
awesome.
people I found are like nervous. They get the front row tickets and they're nervous. And then I just had a post on like a subreddit I have on Reddit for me. They posted about the show and like gave a review of the show and how it's like it's fun to watch. Because one thing I do is if I don't see somebody in the audience, I'm like, what about you, man? This and that. And I feel them like nervous or not wanting to talk. I go, it's no big deal, dude. What about him? Like I just move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
It's-
move on. Yeah.
It's so easy to
Yo,
do
Because
that.
you also
Pressure.
don't want to try and get blood from a stone. You want to keep the energy going, keep it
Yes.
and there's people that can be, especially if you have a reputation for doing crowd work. There can be people that can be too rambunctious, and then maybe and you want
Yeah.
you want some in between. You
Yep.
want
Yeah, you kinda
someone
need a-
that can work with you.
You need a light touch with that kind of stuff too, because after a while you end up with the audience. You're already going to have under normal circumstances an audience who thinks they're helping you by throwing stuff in.
Yep.
And you put crowd work into the mix, and people show up thinking that they're going to help you out.
Yeah.
But you don't just do crowd work.
No. I'm just saying
yeah.
there some people don't do any.
Right.
But you need kind of a light touch there if you're going to do it, or make it kind of a staple.
Yeah. It has to be. I weave in and out. I don't like do. That's one thing I've learned or I've found out from other people. I just had a club thank me recently, where they said, "Thank you for not just coming here and minding the audience. Thank you for coming with a full hour, like
With
an
an act.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you kind of jump in and out, and then if it starts to get too loose or crazy, you go back to yourself,
back
you
in,
know.
yeah.
And it's just very easy to me now. But I've heard like there's comics that will show up and do 15 minutes because that's all they have. They have internet popularity from
Like
their
YouTubers and stuff.
Hecklers,
And then
yeah.
do a Q&A for 45 minutes.
That's 100% very bloated Q&A or like we call them and friends shows.
Yep.
Where it's like this person that you know and friends, and then it's 80 minutes of their friends,
Yeah.
and then them doing 10 at the end, and then everyone going crazy, and then be like, all right, well, thanks for coming, guys.
Right. But they put asses in seats like YouTubers do. So you can never blame the clubs.
Can't hate 'em.
They're like, we're trying to sell drinks and jalapeno poppers. Or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
And the comedy ignorant are not always bad. It's a lot of the time they come to the show and they're very, very good. I have found, I'll give you a heads up, that sometimes they don't know that there's people before.
Well,
And
so
I say to them, don't say featured comedian, say your next comedian.
yeah.
Or for like you bringing you up, because
Yeah.
when they go featured, you notice a noticeable pop where they're like, "Is that?"
And then
him?"
I get up there and
Yeah.
they're like, who the hell?
Is she Jeff Arcuri? She looks very, very...
Taking a little
Different than
risk.
the
I'll
Or-
pop my head out of the curtain and go, "Not yet, everybody."
Just hold on a few minutes.
I'm going to be out in a minute.
I've
Hold that thought. I want to do this money, and then we'll get right back into it. It's $1,000, courtesy of the Buzzard Bookie. Listen closely. I hope you win. Good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard Bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Pay. That's pay. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
So Jeff Arcuri is doing a show tonight at Hilarities that is sold out. If you were listening in Pittsburgh, he's doing the Improv this weekend. Sold out in Salt Lake City and Phoenix. You're doing Stamford, Connecticut, Omaha, Appleton, Portland, Philly.
Yes.
And
And
you
then
can go
back
to,
here in December.
Yep.
back in December 21 and 22.
And
Yep.
those are on sale.
They are on sale now, yes.
Yeah, they just put them up.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mary.
Oh, no. He was just saying I've opened for those YouTuber guys before, and
Yeah.
they hated me because
Really?
they don't want their.
Well-
you at least post comedy clips, right?
Yeah.
Like
You
stand
opening
up
for Andrew
clips.
Tate.
Yeah.
When you open for people who do like funny sketches, everyone's looking at you like, get the hell off the stage. I came to see the famous person.
Yeah.
And they're
you
also
know?
21 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Like-
that's one thing I love about my audience, dude. 28 to like 40
Oh, it's-
Oh,
year old
perfect.
couples. It's a
Yeah.
lot of
Yes.
couples, and I'm shaking a lot of dudes' hands that are like, "This is the guy that's making you laugh." All right, like it's a lot of that. But then by the end, my goal, I always bring that up on stage. My goal is to like get a hug from that guy and be like, "All right, I'll follow you, buddy."
All
You
right,
know what I mean?
fine. I
Yeah.
guess. So it's women dragging their men to your shows.
And the other opposite too.
Oh, okay.
It's been really, really cool.
It's one person that likes you and one person that's like begrudgingly there and then comes around in the live performance. And
yeah,
that's,
it's great. I love
Yeah.
that part. But it's-
That's I mean, we'll get things like that where people are like, I listen to the show. He hates it. Like he does not like listen to you on the radio. He thinks you're the stupidest idiot. And then they'll be like, "But you're pretty funny on stage." So
yeah. I made the mistake of asking for feedback in the earlier tour dates. I was like, "You guys like something? Let me know this and that." And some lady like reached out, like to be like, "We didn't like these three jokes." I'm like, "All right, no, I didn't mean that. I just meant make me feel better about feeling
Right.
He's taking
Not the
notes.
feedback I was looking for.
Yeah, so now I do those
these
jokes
three
every time.
jokes.
3.
Yeah.
I didn't care for those so much. So what was the pivot then for you? I mean, you said New York and then Detroit, and then how long were you in Chicago? I mean,
I was in Chicago for like 5-6 years.
starting when? Like when all the clubs came back?
Yeah, honestly, no.
Because when I came back, I grew up there and started doing stand up in like the early 90s because I'm old. But when I moved back in 06, everything had gone away. So it was like you had to go do like the Globe Pub and Shuba's. Now they have like the Laugh Factory
Yep.
and the Comedy Barn and all this stuff, so.
That was what motivated me. Was I was in Michigan. I wanted to give it a shot, but not too far from Michigan.
Yeah.
And I had known that there's the Comedy Bar, the Laugh Factory, and Zanies were all within a couple miles
Zany's
of
been
each
there
other.
for 1,000 years. That's
Yeah.
like the last one standing from those original clubs.
Yep,
Yeah.
they survived it.
Yeah.
And so those 3 clubs were all within a couple miles of each other. I'm like, if I move right there, I can maybe get in and just rotate working there. And that's what I did.
Were you living in Old Town or where were you living?
I did for a little bit. No,
Yeah.
not Old Town. Lincoln Park.
Yeah,
and, And then eventually I moved to like Roscoe Village.
Yeah.
And it was just nice. And I could still walk to like Laugh Factory, other places. A little bit of
Right.
a walk, but it was still fun. It was great. And then the same reason I left Michigan is just like if you feel like you've done it all and you're doing the maximum there, I
Yeah.
was like, it's
Time
time
to
to
move
go
on.
the next one.
and challenge yourself again. And then,
Yeah.
woof, it was very depressing 2 years in New York City after that. Because like to go from like going up whenever you want to
It's like going high school to the pros, kind
Yeah,
of.
it
Right.
Well,
is.
and then you get to you get 2017 you got to
end of 2017,
to New York, and then you're there. You're starting to establish yourself, and then the pandemic happens,
yeah.
and you're like, oh god damn it.
Yeah, really bonded with a lot of friends during that
Yeah.
pandemic there. But I moved back to Michigan for like 8 months when that
Yeah.
happened. But I was like, it took a long time to get going in New York.
One of our friends moved to New York in February of 2020.
Oh, whoa.
Only to have a
Pre-COVID.
shutdown immediately.
So, like literally got there, was like going to his first gig. It might have been March of 2020.
It was like March 6th.
Yeah.
It was like a week before everything
Oh,
happened.
no.
Oh, I was boarding a cruise ship on
Yeah.
March 12th, and they're
Oh,
like,
now, yeah.
the guy was like, "Get off, or you live here forever." And I'm like, "All right,
Really?
yeah."
To work or
Work.
yeah, okay.
No, I'm not crazy.
I don't know, man. And people are, these things that, because once you kind of got halfway through the pandemic, you'd start to have these conversations with people. You'd go, hey, what do you think is never coming back? And people would go, buffets, cruises, everything came back.
Yeah.
Because people have short attention spans. They want to have fun, especially after they got pent up like that. But these cruise companies, for a while, they were like, oh, we're going to go bankrupt. And then they're like, we have waiting lists for cruises.
Yeah.
Like on a good cruise, you'll walk out of there with, like the flu or something. And now people are.
Oh yeah, the rules and regulations on getting sick in the cruises was pretty intense, even
Yeah.
for like entertainers, because we had to stay in like that deck
Right.
of people. was very intense. It was very fun though. I met a lot of different people there, like all the different countries that work there. But it is tiered.
Well, and also it's funny because like they technically have like the non-fraternization policy with the employees, but they're all like banging and doing whatever.
Oh yeah,
anyway,
no, we
so.
could like flirt with like I would hang out with the dancers and stuff, like the other like entertainers. That's fine, but you can't like hang out with the audience because that does feel weird, anyways. You know what I mean? Like if they're on vacation with their families and stuff.
See them at the buffet later on or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, that was boy. Oh boy. I did a retirement cruise, the Panama Canal, and there's nothing like making eye contact. I was just doing jokes about dating, like, you guys, who's single? Why would I ask that?
They're 90 years old.
I am because of death.
yeah. And then them seeing you in the buffet line and just nodding at you. But if you did well, then you'd get like funny guy, like you'd get like that, or like people would sit down next to you. You know,
like eating crab legs next to somebody.
Yeah.
Jeff Arcuri's show tonight at Hilarities is sold out, but he's coming back, and the tickets are on sale for December. You know, what better way to celebrate the holidays than going to see Jeff at Hilarities? It's December 21 and 22. If you're listening in Pittsburgh, he's doing the Pittsburgh Improv this week. Who runs the Pittsburgh Improv? It's not Jerome anymore, is it?
I feel bad not knowing this.
Oh,
I
okay.
think his name's John.
My first time there. So.
Yeah. Oh, you've never done it before?
No.
Okay.
This is the first
It's a
year
great
of
club.
touring a lot of clubs, man.
Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say that to your credit, and whatever, this is going to sound like I'm sucking up. But
Are you, Mary?
No, well, he's been doing comedy, over 15 years?
13.
13. Okay,
Yeah.
so you've been in comedy for 13 years, which means you're a very good, very well-written, established comic, right?
Thanks.
So I love seeing people like you blow up on the internet.
Thank you.
Because it's like, it's been 13 years common. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And so
yeah.
now that something which is as annoying or whatever as the algorithm works in your favor, and you're already so funny that now people are discovering you and coming out and you're selling those tickets. And I love it. It's like an example of when the internet works. You know
I
what I mean?
appreciate that.
I love
Well, that's
that.
better than blowing up because of you took advantage of the internet. You know, if
Yeah.
you've got that fundamental, you've got the chops and the foundation. Then when the tech catches up, is kind of she's describing.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
It's
you're
like
in much better shape.
it's a career it'll have longevity.
Yeah,
You know?
I used to hate it too. I hated the internet for forever. And then I was like, you know what, one day I'll just post. That's why I don't really interact. I'm not a guy who's like, what's up? Like doing selfie
Yep.
videos or anything like that. I can't do any of that. I go, just let me go on
You
stage.
post your content and
That's it.
then walk away.
Post
I don't
Ghost.
remember
Yeah.
recording. I don't know. I don't like knowing that I'm recording. I just do it, and then I do my act, and then if something funny happens, I go back and I find it later. But I hate the times when I something crazy happens, and I look to make sure my camera's recording, and I'm like, no, stop doing that, buddy.
Just
You
be
know
in the
what I mean?
moment.
Yeah.
Did you record from the moment you started doing stand-up? I was always surprised back in the day how many people did not start recording from the beginning. You're going to stink for like a good couple of years.
Yep.
But like recording all of them was always a good way to be like, well, okay, I got something there, nothing there, something there.
Expedite growth for sure.
Yeah.
It's hard though.
Right.
The only thing is, a lot of comics now are recording, like sub 5 years, are recording themselves to get like that one viral clip.
Yeah.
As if that's going to do anything. It's going to get them a weekend at a club. And it's like, no, you're not going to do a weekend with 7 minutes of material. You know what I mean? But they're like posting, and I had people ask me, like, when should I post? I'm like, when you got like 30, 40 minutes is when you should start posting, because then you have something to show.
Like a
you know what I
true
mean?
40.
Yeah.
Not just like the guys that would go up. You know, you think back to like open mic guys who'd be like, I got like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got 5 maybe.
I love
you know?
people-
If you
well-
didn't bring all your friends, you would have had 5.
Yeah.
They'll message me and they're like, I haven't done stand up before, but I got a solid 30 minutes
Yeah.
that I know is going to work. I'm like, all right, come do 5 at one of my shows.
Yeah.
And they'll do 2 and bail.
Yeah.
And be like, what happened to the 30, man?
Yeah. Oh, it's so
The
funny.
party would also love to have seen that 30 minutes. Unbroken.
Oh,
Just watching them sweat.
it felt like 30.
Yeah, I'm
was
sure it
too, but
did.
It felt like 30.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the goal is what? Like, my goal is no more than 15 seconds without like a
With a
laugh.
Yeah.
That's like pushing it, in my opinion. And it's like, but a lot of newer comics, it'll be like, they'll be over descriptive. Like,
Oh, yeah.
she
yeah.
walked in the room like a tornado. A tornado I didn't want to meet. And it's like, all right, what do you just.
All right, whose bit is that? Because that's I love that guy.
Bill's taking notes.
Yeah,
I'm just reading from my diary right now.
Mhm. Are you a guy happy doing stand-up? I mean, some people are like, well, this is part of my grind, but it's, you know.
No, it's funny. I've been asked that a lot. I've met with managers and agents that are just like, what's the next step? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of okay with where I'm at on the stairs right now. I'm really happy with it. Like just touring, being able to
sell tickets, have people that come out to see you. Like that's
I just got a new apartment where I can actually afford to live in New York by leaving it. That's the only way I can afford it.
But do you also write for yourself like a project outside stand up? I mean, a lot of people they're like, it's not going to come to me. If I have something, I'll write it and then possibly.
Yeah. I'm not waiting for anybody else anymore, but I am like I have nothing worth even mentioning in the process right now, but I do want to eventually go into like writing short stories, things like that, like things that I could sell that I would enjoy doing myself and not force myself to do because it's part of the process of an entertainer.
Sure. Yep.
Like
a natural progress versus just trying to force yourself into movies or TV show just to say that you did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't get excited to wake up at 6 a.m. to go on a set. I know some people are like, the set life, I love it. I go, I would hate that.
Not if you're sitting in a trailer and waiting for somebody to get you.
Yeah.
Which is what a lot of that can be.
Yeah, and I would probably end up just trying to make the boom mic guy laugh, while I'm performing, because that's more important to me than the audience that sees it eventually.
Right.
You know?
Before you have to go, how'd that tumor thing go?
Oh, damn.
The tumor thing.
He had a tumor on his face a few years ago. And
good, I dodged it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was fine. It was actually a while. It was like, what, 10 years ago maybe? No, like 9, 8 years ago.
Where was this on your face?
It was actually right under my ear. So it was like a big
Really?
old bulge. I went through like a breakup, and then...
It was a rough time.
A stress tumor?
It was a real rough time, dude. It was in Chicago. I went through a breakup, and my friend, and it just like that, like it just exploded to the size of a golf ball in my face. Wow. And then I went to a doctor. They're like, we don't really know if it's that bad or that good, but it's not unless it gets bigger. It's not worth looking into. And I'm like,
well, unless it gets bigger, it's like already a golf ball.
Yeah. And then they said we can get it out, but it's going to be counted as cosmetic. So I had to pay for it myself. Insurance didn't cover it. Yeah. But they covered a portion of it, but then they wouldn't cover like anesthesia. They said all this stuff happened.
That's so crazy.
We got a raw dog here. There's no anesthesia.
Yeah, here's a spoon, buddy. And I just, my buddy did a GoFundMe for me, and it blew up, and it did really well for me. It afforded me to be able to get rid of it.
But like you had to stop performing during that time, or what?
Yeah, I was out for like 2 months, 2-3 months.
Okay.
The surgery was a few days, but then I just went back to Michigan for a few months.
Right. Convalesce.
Yeah, whatever that word means for sure. Mm-hmm. And then, I just hung out with my family. Just had like it was a nice little recovery. It was also nice to feel loved like that and feel like backed up.
Yeah,
Jeffy's home for his tumor recovery.
Yeah.
People bringing you baked goods and things like that.
It is
but it
funny.
also gives you some perspective and some. You go, okay, they're like, I want to be able to do this, but also I need to be healthy and like you appreciate your health a lot more when you go through something like that.
For sure. Oh, yeah. I remember, too. I forgot this. My parents and my sisters told me I did this. I don't even remember doing it, but I came out of anesthesia, and I asked the nurse to tell me when I'm going up to my family. I don't remember any of this. And she goes, we're here. This is your family, Jeff. So as I was trying to sleep, I just go, like that. And I scared I remember my mom said, and Valerie almost didn't come back from that. That was too scary. And I was like, and I fell asleep. Like I just laughed and then went back to sleep in my bed. And I'm like, that's pretty good. I can just, it's always on.
Right, you're there. You got it.
You could have got it. You could have gone viral 10 years ago if somebody had filmed that.
If I only had a clip of it.
Yeah, on a kid after the dentist.
I just wake up and go, where are you from? What do you do?
Jeff Arcuri is doing one show at Hilarities tonight, but it is sold out. But the tickets are on sale for his triumphant return in December. So go to hilarities.com for the details. If you're listening from Pittsburgh, he's at the Improv this weekend. Go to pittsburghimprov.com for those details. And J. Arcuri on Instagram, yeah?
J-A-R, J. Arcuri. Yep,
Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, thanks for coming in, bro.
Thank you guys
nice
for
to meet
having
you.
me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, let me take a break here. Anything you want to text, shoot it to me, 35192, and we'll be back.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our